G'day everyone, it's Doctor Colin here with a new Pop-Culture Pow Wow installment for you. I took a bit of a break off last week because I got this flu thing that's going around and ended up losing my voice for a little bit. So that's the beauty of a Melbourne winter for you. And now that I've got my voice back, I decided that I was going to get back into recording straight away. So here we go with this week's powwow, and I want to talk about Margot Robbie. The reason that I wanted to talk about Margot is because of a number of things. The first is that I think she's an amazing actress with a lot of potential that is finally getting noticed, and she's really going from strength to strength over there in Hollywood. She has a background in children's TV and soap operas in Australia, being in The Elephant Princess and Neighbours, and she had a breakout role in The Wolf of Wall Street, which is a Scorsese film that you should see when you get the chance, because like everything else he does, it's fantastic, and she is an absolute standout in the film. But now she's got two major films coming out in the next month, which is Tarzan, which is a reboot of Tarzan, which for some reason is not getting the same vitriol as the Ghostbusters reboot has. Not sure what's going on there. Anyway, the other thing that she's got coming out is Suicide Squad, where she plays Harley Quinn, which is something that I'm very excited for, because not only am I a big fan of Margot Robbie, I'm a huge fan of the character of Harley Quinn, and I think she is absolutely the perfect person to take on the role. You look at her and she looks like a Bruce Timm illustration. It's really fantastic seeing her in that role, and I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. And in light of that is what I want to really talk about, which is an article that was published in Vanity Fair last week about Margot Robbie, which has raised a few eyebrows this side of the equator. So, a bit of background. The article was written by Rich Cohen, who is a non-fiction writer. He's a journalist. He started his journalism career back in the mid-1990s and has worked at The New Yorker. He's worked at New York Observer and Rolling Stone before moving over to Vanity Fair a little under 10 years ago. So he's got a lot of experience in journalism, and he's written 6 books as well. So you'd think he's got a pretty good CV. He's got a good resume of experience behind him, which is why it's so bizarre to read this article that he's written, because it is awful in various ways. The way that he refers to Margot is with a certain detachment, which, I mean, it's not uncommon for journalists to be sort of detached from the person they're interviewing, but it seems really obvious here that he's basically going through a list of things that he read off Wikipedia that he wanted to double check with her, and he's really fixated on the Wolf of Wall Street in particular, and it would seem that it's because of the sex scenes. Let's put it that way. He's fixated on the sex scenes of Wolf of Wall Street, and that movie comes up quite a bit in the article, and he actually manages to end the article talking about the sex scene, which is a real class move. The other thing that has upset people down here is the way that he talks about Australia with certain disdain and something that borders on vitriol, and it sort of leaves people to go, well, what did we do to him? The only thing that sort of compounds that is the fact that he seems to be completely ignorant of Australia and the way that we live. So it seems kind of bizarre that he's got these assertions of what we're like down here, considering that he doesn't know a lot about us. So to give you an idea of where I'm going with this, I'm going to read a section of the article out for you from the introduction. Now I'm going to leave a link to the actual article, which you can find on the Vanity Fair website, in the description. So if you want to read the whole thing, make up your own mind, and then maybe even comment back here to see what you think about it. Follow the link in the description, but this is from the opening paragraph. America is so far gone, we have to go to Australia to find the girl next door. In case you missed it, her name is Margot Robbie. She is 26 and beautiful, but not in that otherworldly catwalk way, but in a minor knock-around key, a blue mood, a slow dance. She is blonde but dark at the roots. She is tall, but only with the help of certain shoes. She can be sexy and composed, even while naked, but only in character. As I said, she is from Australia. To understand her, you should think about what that means. Australia is America 50 years ago, sunny and slow, a throwback, which is why you go there, for throwback people. They still live and die with the plot turns of soap operas in Melbourne and Perth, still dwell in a single mass market in Adelaide and Sydney. In the morning, they watch Australia's Today Show. In other words, it's just like America, only different. When everyone here is awake, everyone there is asleep, which makes it a perfect perch from which to study our customs, habits, accents. An ambitious Australian actor views Hollywood the way the Martians view Earth at the beginning of the War of the Worlds. So, what we've got here, it would appear, is someone who, from the outset, wants to establish that Margot Robbie is someone who looks distinctive, who wants to establish that Australia is a backwards, regressive nation, and that Robbie herself is a personification of that, and that effectively Australian actors are like Martians looking at Hollywood, trying to figure out ways of invading. Doesn't seem too interested in Margot Robbie as a person. He's interested in her as a professional, but only insofar as creating sort of a checklist of what she's done in the past, and he tends to fixate quite heavily on the Wolf of Wall Street. I think what we've got here is a case of a writer who has basically been doing his job for so long that he just kind of assumes he can write anything and it will get through, and the editors at Vanity Fair have done nothing to dispel that notion. The fact that he can get away with lines like, "She is tall but only with the help of certain shoes," is a testament to the fact that the editor really didn't seem to give a crap when giving this the green light. The fact that he says, "She can be sexy and composed even while naked," that's okay, I suppose, but only in character. Now, that would imply that he knows that she's sexy and composed while naked, but not in character. Which, of course, begs the question, how would he know that? So, you've got someone who's been paid to write an article about Margot Robbie and how she's the next big thing in Hollywood. And what he's done is he's basically said, Australians just want to invade Hollywood, and we're all ignorant, backwards people, and Margot Robbie is the newest one who is just as ignorant and invasion happy as the rest of them. The only time that he sort of seems to focus on anything really is when he's talking about Jerry Weintraub, and then when he's asking about what it takes to do sex scenes. And as a result, it creates a really unpleasant and unpalatable depiction of not only Australia as a nation, but also somehow manages to take one of the most talented upcoming stars in Hollywood, who has shown time and again to be one of the nicest and most genuine people out there, and actually make her look as though she must be some kind of regressive person. I think what we have here is a big problem with the way that journalism is basically conducted, and the way that as long as their word counts are brought in on time, they're good to go with whatever. And it's not isolated to America by any means. There's plenty of cases of similar kinds of problems in Australia and around the world. But it comes from this fact that I think we've got a massive problem with celebrity culture, where we need to know everything about a person without actually having any reason to know it. And as a result, we end up with this slop. being handed to us as if it was a piece of actual journalism. So I've put a little link in the description to this article. I want you guys to have a read of it yourself and come up with your own opinion. Maybe if you read it and you don't think it's that bad, let me know in the comments, because I'm open to hear what you guys have got to say. But once again, thank you for listening. And remember, if you enjoyed it, to like the video. If you want to hear more pop culture powwows or check out any of my other videos, subscribe. And I've got some videos up here which you can see that I've done before, and you can have a look at those and enjoy them to your heart's content. I'll have some more videos out soon, and I hope to see you when they become available. Alright, thank you very much.